we discussed how our administration is going to devote the remainder of the summer to a special focus on 5 ways to make gains in getting those of you who are unvaccinated vaccinated. Because here's the deal. We are continuing to wind down the mass vaccination sites that did so much in the spring to rapidly vaccinate those eager to get their first shot and their second shot, for that matter, if they needed a second. Now we need to go to community by community, neighborhood by neighborhood, and oftentimes door to door, literally knocking on doors to get help to the remaining people protected from the virus. Look, equity, equality, it remains at the heart of our responsibility of ensuring the communities that are the hardest hit by the virus have the information and the access to get vaccinated. So, as we shift from these centralized mass vaccination sites where we're doing thousands of people a day, we're going to put even more emphasis on getting vaccinated in your community, close to home, conveniently, and a location you're already familiar with.
I'd like to start by saying all praise and honor and glory are given unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahah, Quadash. Double honors are given unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, men who have labored and suffered in this truth for over 30 years, making their lives and their bodies a living sacrifice. I also like to say shalom to the hopeful elect, the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, the GMS camps, heads of those camps, brothers who have labored and studied and gotten this truth from the apostles, who do the work diligently, sincerely. Also like to say shalom to the Akim who are out on the highways and hedges as commanded, not named GMS, but walk in one step, one spirit, bringing forth this 100% truth, one spirit in Yahweh Shai. To you, I say shalom. This is your brother Quadar Bond. And I'd like to start with a scripture in the book. Let's see. Let's pull it up here. Let's go back to the New Testament. Let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 19. Let's see what the law say about vaccinations, because ultimately it's going to lead to mandatory. Just gradually pushing that plan, little by little, but at the same time with a little speed, a little urgency. That's what we're witnessing now, because his time is running short, and he can see the writing on the wall, pun intended. Let's see, this is Leviticus. This is in the law, one of the book of the law. This is Leviticus chapter 19. Let's see what verse we're looking for. Let's see. This is Leviticus 19 and 28, and it reads, "Ye shall not make any cutting in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord Yahweh." And that goes into tattooing. But that tattoo gun, me personally, I've never had a tattoo. But any of you Akims that may have done that back in the world, because that's where we all come from, the world. You know that they use a little gun, a little needle gun that pricks the skin, and that's against the law. So Esau Edom is pushing legislation, door-to-door legislation. This next step is going to be mandatory. They're desperate now. They're getting desperate. That's why you see the so-called leader of the free world, called the president, is coming out on that podium talking about going door-to-door in your communities. Yeah. They're getting desperate. But let's let it rock on. Let's go back. Let them speak a little bit more. We'll chime in here and there.
First thing we're going to do, this includes 42,000 local pharmacies where folks with questions can talk to the pharmacists they know and already have dealt with. These locations overwhelmingly allow you to walk in without an appointment, get the vaccination when you're picking up your prescription or just going in to get your toothpaste or something else you need from a drugstore. Second, my team is going to place renewed emphasis on getting the vaccines to more and more family doctors and healthcare providers so more Americans can get this shot at their doctor's office from the folks that they know and they trust the most. Third thing we're going to do.
There you go. You're using that word, trust. Whenever the so-called white man say trust, you got to beware. You could never trust this man. Salakia. You can never trust him. That's a no-no. Let's see. Get the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Sirach chapter 12. Let's see. Let's pull it up real quick. He said it, so I'm going to see what the Lord said about trust. And see what the Most High said about trust. And this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 10, and it reads, "Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness." And he's speaking, as though he got your best interest at heart. You need to take this. You need to do this. And ultimately, what he's asking you to do is go against the laws and statutes that the Lord has set up for his people. Those that would adhere and will come back to this. They're not going to go through with this. Lord willing, the Most High, Yahweh Basham Yahushua, will keep the spirit on brothers and sisters not to go through with this. Just not going to go through with this. And it reads, because this is how he's acting now. This second verse describe him perfectly. You listen to this here. This is verse 11, and it says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed." And that's what he's doing now. He's humbling himself. We're going door to door. You need this. This is a must. Using them soft words. It's funny. Anyway, let's keep reading. It says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him, as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away." Verse 12, it says, "Set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at last remember my wonders, my words, and be pricked there within." Who will pity a charmer that is bitten by a snake, by a serpent, slacky, or such as come nigh wild beasts? So one that goeth to a sinner is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity. In other words, Most High saying that, hey, listen, the man track record has shown who he is at heart, no matter how smooth and his legislation and how he's putting you at the front of the line because of your health, for the sake of your family and your family's health's sake. You not to trust this clown, man. It is what it is. His track record stands for itself. It goes without saying. It goes without saying. You have to take an account of this man's history, what he says, and and ultimately what he does in the end. Because the two different things, what he's saying he doing versus what he does. And you have to take that into account. So you can't trust this man. And he said it out of his own mouth, trust. So he left the door open for that. Let's keep rolling.
We're going to step up efforts to get vaccines to your family doctors and other doctors who serve younger people, so that adolescents ages 12 to 18 can get vaccinated, and as they go for back-to-school checkups or getting ready for the physicals they need for fall sports. Fourth, we're also intensifying our efforts to meet people where they are, outside of their neighborhoods, pharmacies, and doctor's offices. This includes continuing to work with employers to make vaccination shots available at work, on the work site if possible, or give their employees paid time off to get vaccinated in a nearby facility. And fifth and finally, we're sending out more mobile clinic units out there to help people at special events, summer festivals, sporting events, as well as places of worship wherever we can find people gathered. In addition to these initiatives to continue to vaccinate the unvaccinated.
Places of worship, wherever, sporting events, wherever people are gathered, we will be there on hand with portable vaccination stations. I guess that's the word I was looking for. With portable vaccination stations. I want to pull another script because he's acting real desperate right now. And there's a reason why he's acting real desperate right now. Let's go to the book of Revelations. New Testament, Revelations. And this is an oldie but goodie. This is Revelations chapter 12. And this is why this man is acting real desperate right now. He's humbling himself. He's sounding reasonable. But that's when you're supposed to be, your antennas are supposed to be on high alert when he's acting reasonable and he's talking all smooth, and hey, that's when you got to be on high alert. Go to orange. This is Revelations 12 and verse 12. And this will give you a little insight on why he's in such an uproar. He's being so nice. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell therein. Salakia, start that over. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. And when the dragon saw that he was cast onto the earth, he pursued the woman which brought forth the man-child. I went a little step further there, and that's actually going into Esau, Edom, pursuing the nation of Israel, or the man-child, Yahushua. And those heavens that it speak of is talking about this ruling government. Rejoice, ye heavens. It's over with. It's over with. And like I say, this man can see the writing on the wall. And when I say this man, I mean the elites, the ones that are really pulling the purse strings. They can see the writing on the wall. So they trying to push forth. They ain't got much time. They see these chariots out here. They see the uproars of the people worldwide. They see the natural disasters. They see these things. And mind you, they pay attention to the prophets that they see out on the highways and hedges. That in itself is a big scare to these folks. That is a big scare to the people that it matters the most to, and that is the elite. That is the elite. I'm gonna let it play on out, put a few more scripts and close out. Let's see.
We're stepping up our preparations to respond to the outbreaks we're going to see among the unvaccinated. For that, we're mobilizing what I'm calling COVID-19 surge response teams. These teams are made up of experts from FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and elsewhere across our government, other groups. And they're going to help states that have particular problems prevent, detect, and respond to the spread of the Delta variant among unvaccinated people in communities with low vaccination rates.
Thanks for watching Bloomberg Quick Take Now. Subscribe to our channel to see the biggest stories the moment they happen from around the world, and tune in to our 24/7 live stream for global news coverage, interviews, deep dives, shows, and documentaries on the story.
Salakia Akim. They slipped that in on me. But that's like Revelations 12:12 say, woe unto the inhabitants. Just roughly paraphrasing. Because, you know, the rulership know that rulership is coming to an end. And they're going to kick, scratch, you know, and do their damnedest to stay in power. But it's prophesied that they go out, you know. So it's useless. It's useless what they're doing, but they're going to do it nevertheless. It's prophesied that they will do that. But you know what? I want to grab a script. Sure. And it's just a metaphor for. It's just a metaphor. We're gonna get it at Matthew chapter 18. Matthew chapter 18. And this is Yahweh speaking to the prophets. I mean, Slakia, to the disciples. But we're gonna flip this and put it on those who will hurt those little ones. You know, the Lord's people. We're going to use that to describe what's going to happen to these people as they push their agenda. You understand? You know, and force you into, and don't get it twisted. I'm talking about the 2/3 of the nation of Israel. You know, that may be a 1/3 here or there that may have to go into a camp, that may have to be a witness for Hamashiach Yahweh Shah's sake. You understand? That just may be the case. But mainly this is, you know, this is talking to the nation of Israel, the 1/3, you know, who the Lord is going to keep that hedge of protection around. You know, but let me just get into it. This is Matthew 18. I'm gonna start at and I'm gonna start at the top. I'm just read these 9 verses, and it reads, verse 1: At the same time came the disciples unto Hamashiach, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Hamashiach called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them. And he's using the metaphor, you know. And from what we've learned from the apostles on down, to even brothers such as myself, who's just a baby in the spirit, that the greatest in the kingdom are going to be those who are going to be sincerely doing this work. The greatest of those are going to be those who was already chosen from the foundation of the earth. The men on the highways and hedges that's doing this work sincerely, bringing forth the 100% truth. Namely, the accounts of GMS, but not just GMS. You know, there's other camps out there as well that are talking in the same spirit. You know. But let's keep reading. And verse 3, and said. And it's in red. And it says, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as a little child, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Verse 4, whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. To deal with this truth, to come into this faith, come back to your heritage, you have to be humble above all things And that word humble goes into humility. You have to be humbled. This is real live stuff that you're dealing with here. This is real life. This ain't for play, as they say. This is real. And a proud man, he lessens his chances of doing this, is humbling himself to come to an understanding, to learn, to be able to accept his or her wrong, mainly his, because the Lord deal with his men, and be able to grow from that. Verse 5, and whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. There go that name again. Let's keep reading. Verse 6, but whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea. And now we're getting into a metaphor for Esau, Edom, these elites, these so-called white folks. It's pushing their agenda. So there's going to be a lot of hurting going on. A lot of hurting. It's verse 7, and it reads, woe unto the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. So, Most High gonna deal with that. He gonna deal with this man. He gonna deal with them justly and righteously. They gonna get what's coming to them. Hell, all flesh will get what's coming to you, because you will be judged by your works. Verse 8, wherefore if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off and cast them from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life hat or maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. He said, it'd been better that you entered in life already maimed, rather than to have your 2 hands or 2 feet and to be cast in the everlasting fire. That's rough. Verse 9, and if thy eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hellfire. So, hey, look, this man done a lot of damage. He done a lot of hell. He was just plain out wicked. And it's not just for him, but we talking about him in particular. Esau Edom, talking about the so-called white man. He's got a lot to pay for. He by no wise will escape his judgment. He will no wise escape his judgment. And let's get it in, let's see. Let's go back to the Old Testament. We're going to go to the book of Psalms, and we're going to go to chapter 37. This is Psalms chapter 37, and further just expounding on that we just read in the book of Matthew. And this is verse 5. It says, commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. And this is talking about the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, that innumerable number that will come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. That for the better portion was already picked, was already chosen. But they walk today, now on this planet, not knowing who they are. But the Lord knows. Verse 6, and he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Verse 7, rest in the Lord Yahweh, and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who I ain't good with words, like it says, fret not thyself because of him who pursueth in his ways because of the man who bringeth wickedness devices to pass. I chopped that up. We'll keep it moving. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. So you're not to do anything on your own accords. You're always to revert back to these scriptures. These scriptures are your guidance of the instructions to what you should do through every step. Verse 9, we're getting to the point here. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord Yahweh, they shall inherit the earth. And that's going back into that remnant. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Verse 11, but the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. And the only peace that the nation of Israel is going to receive is when Hamashiach Yahweh Shah come back by way of his father Yahweh. Going to send him back to take down this man and his wicked ass kingdom. Verse 12, the wicked plotteth against the just and masheth upon him with his teeth. Verse 13, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. His day coming. Man, they sitting up here trying to push FEMA into your neighborhoods and set up these portable vaccination stations and whatnot. You know, knowing that he got a ill agenda behind all this. You know, his day is coming. He's not gonna get away with this. And for you Jakes that go willingly, just go willingly to this man and pop your veins and whatnot, you're going to get what's coming as well. I mean, I guess that'll be all. I hope that this was somewhat edifying. I'd like to give all praise and honor and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.